Pektia and Pektika provinces, and Rock. And this was in 2013? What? Holy shit. I was there. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am back. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back, and I'm pretty excited for the story today. So, very honestly, I was just really... I was like looking at the Mr. Ballin subreddit, because we like Mr. Ballin on this channel, obviously. If you don't like him, there's something wrong. And I was browsing the subreddit for Mr. Ballin, even though, yes, Reddit is like 99% leftist disease cesspool, essentially, but got to go where sources of information are, right? So I'm perusing Reddit, and I came across a story. And it just so happens that this story might literally be one that involves me. So yeah, it's a small world after all, isn't it? So that being said, here comes the first episode of, I don't know what I'm going to call this actually, Military Stories? Stories by Badger? Badger Stories? I don't know. I'll figure out something to call these. Storytelling or something like that, right? And this one's going to be a doozy. I'm very certain of that. So that being said, without further ado, let's do. Okay, so, like I said, I found this on the Mr. Ballin subreddit. And the title reads as such. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through it first. And then if people want me to explain things later on, I'll either do so in the comment section or I will do it, as like a separate video or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure that out. It's a long one though. That being said, here we go. Strange experience I had overseas. Figure here is as good a place as any to get it out. This is back in 2013. My task force Dragon, was in Afghanistan, Pektia and Pektika provinces on interdiction missions with a platoon of 10th Mountain as support, and a Ranger QRF in the AO. Any and all decent intel about possible Taliban or Al-Qaeda, even Haqqani network movement. We were there. Sometimes waiting, sometimes not, but heavy ops the whole time. In about June, we got a different mission. Our birds are getting strange contact en route to a cob called Zarak, and got shot at a couple of times, and reported movements and air contact, possibly RPG or AA. We were close, and we had our support with us, plus a couple more platoons from local units. And we were given mission to secure the air route in the general vicinity of where the most contact was reported for the duration of their lift of troops and supplies out of Zarak for turnover. No factor. Simple op. There are a few days. Seems like a good time for us either way. We infill around 04, June 10th. Set up 4 OPs. OP red, OP white, OP blue, and OP green. All on hilltops overlooking the valley and the air route. 2 on each side, about 500 meters apart, and hunker down. Time of mission is estimated 5 days. We are green, set in, start clock. First day, normal lift ops going through. Chinooks going in and out every 4 to 6 hours. Some people moving through our AO, but nothing serious until that night at about 1900 hours. A squad from our support platoon on patrol reports movement about 700 meters to the 6 or 8 of my OP White. Approximately platoon-sized element moving about north to south. Not too worrisome, but they are in somewhat of a blind spot in the mountain range we are in. So we call it, radio the squad to track progress of movement. An hour later, they radio back. They lost contact completely. Strange, but not entirely unusual. So we call it in, radio the other OPs, and wait for the squad to get back as they tried to say more over comms, but it was not getting through, due to interference or bad signal, so we waited. They get back about an hour later, and the squad leader reports to his platoon sergeant and his PL, and I am there as well. He tried to explain that their platoon-sized element, the one they called in earlier as lost contact, he said they vanished. Like, poof. His words. Okay, again, strange way to report losing contact, but not that unusual. If you ever had an enemy break contact with you, you can lose them almost anywhere if you do not have CAS with eyes on. And it would be easy to think they vanished, as that is exactly what it seems like sometimes. I gave them some leeway, as it was mostly a green platoon, and did not have a lot of serious experience. So we just took it with a nod, and advised to keep eyes for it, called it up as unconfirmed, carried on the night. 2300 hours rolls in, with a radio call from OP Red. My teammate asked me to confirm something for him on thermal, and to check with my support to do the same. He asked me to look for large thermal signature that should be to our 3, approximately 1 click out. I switch my nods to thermal, and he's right. There is a pretty big and distinct thermal sig about a click out, and I did not immediately notice anything strange. It just seemed off and out of place. I confirmed with my platoon, and then radioed back a, "Yup." Probably something on fire, and it was in the approximate area of an AUP cob. So first thought was it was probably local nationals doing something, probably a bonfire? But called it up anyway, and advised that air missions proceed with caution, and left it at that for a second. Then I looked again, and noticed something I thought I imagined, but later confirmed with the platoon and other OPs. It looked like fire in thermal, but it also looked like a fire that was not entirely in contact with the ground. It was not flickering. It was not wavering like you would see a regular fire waver. It was, well, consistent. Like if you take fire you had seen in nods, then trapped it inside of some kind of transparent container that was a sharp shape, and kept it like that. Just sitting there, burning, but not really. Now that is strange. I go back and forth with my platoon, my teammates, and Hire, trying to figure out what we were looking at. Hire determined it must be what my first assumption was, and advised to keep eyes on. I'm still trying to rationalize it, though. Could be perspective, line of sight, maybe reflection of a fire even. It's about 0300 now. Then, one of the platoon gunners calls up that he lost contact on thermal. Then, I'll call in from my platoon, and the other OPs. Contact lost. No thermal, no sign of residual, nothing at all. My thought changes from, huh, to immediately, and that's about it. I call it in, we confirm, then that is that for the moment. Charlie Mike. Nothing unusual from 04 to 2000. Just normal air ops, some random non-hostile contacts, and a soldier taking a soft tumble on patrol. Nothing weird. Business as usual. 2030 rolls around, and we start hearing distant automatic weapons fire. and it sounds hot enough to be concerning, as we have no idea who it is, and only a general idea about the area it is coming from, and that it sounds heavy enough to be at least a company-sized fight or larger. I call it in and request to check on friendlies in the area, and if air is en route that might want to reroute or RTB or route to base or return to base. Hire gets back to me about 10 minutes later. Nothing on our side. No air for the next 6. And they will update if there's green units in contact in our AO. I'm told to keep my ears open, and we will get something if there is something. Welco. 2200, and we still hear constant automatic fire and what sounds like explosives. And this goes on until 2300. And on 2300, on the second, it all stops completely. I'm thinking fight's over. Someone won, or someone decided to break contact and call it in. Hire then chose that time to tell me something I did not want to hear. There is 0 reports of any green or blue force in contact in our AO, or even our section of the AO. Nothing. Not even reports from the AUP Cobb that is about 3K from us. Their command called them up, and they reported nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is very strange and very concerning. Not only do we not know who was in a tick, but nobody knows who it was, and that is a serious problem, as that adds a third party, unaccounted for by anyone, and an unknown that could turn out to be anybody or anything. And that is the highest risk level possible in anyone's matrix, and it's definitely a strategic dead zone. In between all of us on this mission, we draft additions to the plans for defense, and exfil if needed to try and account for this unknown factor that just jumped into our collective lap. We agree on something, up security posture, and request update on assets in our AO for support. Next 48 hours, completely calm. Routine reports to hire, Xerox, and between our OPs. Nice and smooth and boring. Perfect. Then 1800 hours, 15 June. Weirdest cacophony of just strange and phenomenal shit I ever experienced my entire service begins. At around 1800 hours, we get notified that we have inbound air for another lift, a few flights of Chinooks, and a few Black Ops to pick up what was left of Blue Forces on Xerox. It starts to get dark. Everyone mounted nods and waited. Then we hear aircraft overhead. And it was not the aircraft we expected, and we could not see it. It sounded like a flight of hogs overhead, but we all looked. Nothing. Nothing on thermal, nothing on night vision, no visibility of whatever was above us. No visible contact. I radio in and ask if we have CAS in the AO on station. Hire says no. I call to the Cobb. Nothing. Now I am pretty freaked. Another unknown has popped up and is above us playing who the hell knows what game over our heads. But we do our best to keep it all calm and not let anyone get too rattled. Maybe it's just comms disconnect or something. Lucky us, we got possible CAS. Did not even call it in. After about an hour, it just flat stops. No sound jets make when they take off. Just stops. That is most certainly weird. Then it gets extra strange. It is around 2000 hours, and the first flight's coming through, and I almost shit brakes. Because before it's a hard visual, it looks like one of the birds has either a really hot shiny light behind it, or it is on fire. Shit. I call into hire and Zarok to get a freak for the flight. No answer. Radio's down. I get another one. Try again. Also down. Try the newest radio. Nothing. Shit. While the platoon RTOs and my teammates try getting comms up, I'm watching the birds coming in, and as they get closer, I notice that the thermal SIG is actually behind the second bird. And what happens next still defies all my reasoning to this day. The signature looks like the same one from the first day. The fire that probably isn't a fire. It starts to ascend from behind the second bird and looks kind of like a sharp right triangle that has a fire on it, in it. Then it turned, spun towards the sky and straight up out of sight. Gone. Completely. Faster than anything I have ever seen. Faster than anything I know about. Those of us that saw it, we, well, kind of froze. Just, I don't know, dazed, entranced, awestruck the hardest way. And then we heard the radios crackling. My RTO rushed mine to me, and I called up what just happened the best way I could. For a moment, hire was just quiet. Then I get told to prep for exfil. That was it. Mission over. Myself and all the personnel present were debriefed, submitted reports, swore statements, went to AOHQ, repeated what we all saw multiple times. My team was set on an early redeployment. We were advised not to publicly disclose that incident. I can only imagine that our support platoon was told something similar, if not the same thing. Since then, we have all been pretty quiet, partly because of the obvious, partly for other reasons. But I retire soon, and decided to take advantage of the amount of anonymity that I am afforded here to at least get this out in a way. Whether or not anyone reads this, or if anyone even gives this a thought, it's the same to me. But it feels nice just to type this out, and I guess give form to this experience that constantly is a part of the repeating cycle of memories in my head that always turns and never stops, never rests. Thank you for the opportunity all the same. Additional comment. Forgive me if some parts seem a little off. Brain trauma does that. Bub. Yeah, and then Mr. Ballin replies and says, I was in that area in October 2013. Crazy. So Mr. Ballin was there too. That means myself, this individual, and Mr. Ballin were all in the same exact place at the same exact time, around the same time. And 2 of us out of the 3 experienced this. That's crazy, dude. That is nuts. As Mr. Ballin says, nuts story, dude. Lots of military jargon, but I definitely tracked the whole thing. I will tag this and maybe use it the next time I do a military story. Thank you. Bub. So what do y'all think? Me? This sounds exactly like something I went through overseas. Same place. Same exact place. And actually, I could tell you the name of like the spot of like OPs that they set up. And it's called, one of them is called, or was called Red Sox. Cobb Zarok later was renamed to Fob Zarok, I believe. Was turned over in 2013 to the ANA and AUP in the area. and it's literally right there on the border to China. And I was there. I was at Fob Zarak, around that exact same time, doing the same exact mission, right? And my unit was sent there for pretty much the same thing, to go help secure the air route for the Chinooks and Blackhawks that were moving to and from Zarak, carrying equipment and supplies and, troops and everything, like, out of Zarak for turnover. Bub, that is nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And it sounds like they were on probably one of, because I'm looking at the map in my head because I remember parts of the map. But it sounds like they were most likely looking almost due south from Red Sox. Yeah, due south from Red Sox, because that's the air corridor go. Yeah, so yeah, but I'm very sure I was there at the same time as this individual. Very certain of this. And I've told my story before, before this channel got deleted. That's crazy. What did y'all think? What do y'all think? Me, I know this story is true because, well, I was there too. And yeah, what we witnessed and experienced was pretty wonky. This individual had a different perspective than I. He was on OP white. I was on red, which was almost directly across the valley from white. They were closer to OP Red Sox than I was. And we didn't see, like, the on fire, whatever rectangle thing, because there was another couple sets of mountains and a wadi that blocked our line of sight to the AUP, fob or cob or whatever. So we wouldn't have seen that. But the two OPs opposite of us, if we were looking almost directly west, they would have both spotted it. So yeah, that's interesting. And then we did witness something following our birds, and we didn't know what it was. And then, yeah, we had the same issues, comms problems, and strange, weird encounters, right? Now, we did spot some elements moving in our, particular AO. And then when we checked it out, there's nobody there, right? So, yeah, a lot of the same experience, same place, same time. Even Mr. Balling was there. That's something else. That is crazy. But what did y'all think? And what do y'all think of this storytelling thing I'm doing? What do y'all think about it? I figured I'd start off with the best one so far. And it's personal to me, so I get to share some of my story as well. But yeah, just, man, that's nuts. But what do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments down below. All right, you know what time it is. You like the content? You like the channel? You may or may not like me. Then, yeah, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm working on alternative means for y'all to, like, participate with me and stuff like that. There is a Discord, by the way, that's being worked on. I'm on Twitch almost 24/7. This weekend, I'm going to have myself a very, very powerful edible. So I'm probably going to be extremely baked this entire weekend. So yeah, I look forward to that. But yeah, just so y'all know, on Xbox Live, I am BlastCapBadger. Or you could just go to the Discord and it'll tell you everything you need to know. The link will be in the description box down below. That being said, well, that's about it. Let me know what y'all think. Love you guys. Hope you all are having as good of a time as I am, or hopefully better, because mine isn't that good right now. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Badger out.